Hello and welcome to
Crochet Moment!
This is episode 47. I think it's 47. I can't remember. Ow, you're hurting my hair.
Sorry.
Oh, ow. Yes, episode 47, and I'm Helen, and this is
Emily!
She is my youngest daughter. We both live in Leicester, and with us lives Emily's oldest sister.
Today is my last day in year one.
Yes, so today is the last day of school for the girls before they break up for summer. And
For 6 weeks.
And Katherine starts high school in September. I can't believe I have a child old enough to go to high school. She'll be in year 7.
And I'll be in year 2.
Yes, you'll be in year 2, but you'll be in the same school.
Yeah.
Now you're going to sit down because
Okay.
you're chopping your head off a little bit. So this is the place I like to where I like to talk about all things knitting, crochet and yarn. It is essentially the confessions of a yarn addict. Although I haven't bought any yarn. How good is that, Emily? I've not been buying any yarn.
But still boo for the yarn that's still got. But yay for being good.
So yes, what have I been up to the last couple of weeks? Well, last week we didn't get up to a whole bunch because after Katherine recovered from COVID, Simon got COVID.
And that is super weird, isn't it?
What do they say about never working with children and animals? So I had a week sleeping on the sofa so that I could avoid catching it. So far so good. And so this week it's just been busy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a big weekend coming up, haven't we?
Yeah.
Now try and be sensible.
Okay.
Can you remember where we're going tomorrow?
Black Country Museum.
We're off to the Black Country Living Museum. Oh gosh, she's made my hair even messier than it was to start with. The Black Country Living Museum is in Dudley in the West Midlands of the UK, and it is a recreated town basically. It's a museum. It's called a living museum because they have essentially bought properties, historic properties, and built them brick by brick to reflect a typical black country town. We've got lovely...
I wish I was the Great Fire of London Historical Museum, because in history I'm learning all about the Great Fire of London.
Yes, we've heard a lot about the Great Fire of London from this one over the last few weeks. But yeah, it's a fantastic place to visit if you haven't been there before. And even better, this weekend is the 1940s weekend. So we're going to try and look the part. Catherine's got a lovely outfit that we bought, a charity shop outfit. I love charity shops.
But I don't have any outfit that will match for Black Country.
No, but you've got some pretty dresses you can wear that you can...
But they might not appreciate pretty dresses.
Oh, I think they will. We'll do your hair up in 1940s. Mummy will have a look on YouTube. We'll find some tutorials. We'll have a practice. Yes, that's our plan for this weekend, and I can't wait. So, craftiness. First of all, let me talk about my blanket along that we've got going on. It's we're in the 2nd month. We've got 1 month to go after July, so we've got basically it's a make along, a 3-month make along. Leave that down there a second. where I have a hashtag, and I will be drawing a winner at the end of August from that hashtag. So the hashtag, and I will float this around my head like I usually do, it's hashtag Crochet Moments MKAL 2022.
Yeah, 2022.
I do have
Remember.
Hurry up, Daddy. Daddy's getting our bath ready. So the prize is this lovely bag of Stylecraft yarn. This is the yarn pack for making the Faith KAL, which was the Stylecraft Helen Shrimpton KAL of 2021. And it is one that I am making. I'm making the one in the Naturals bamboo and cotton yarn. This is the Stylecraft Special DK. So there are, you don't have to use it for the Faith KAL, but we've got 4 balls of the grey, we've got 1 ball of white, 3 balls of the light pink, 3 balls of grey, 1 green, 3 purple and 2 dark pinks. So, yes, it's a lovely yarn pack, and I can't wait to give it away at the end.
And you won't have any more yarn.
Well, I will.
Don't even think about it.
So, so like I said, to take part, just use the hashtag. Make sure your account is public, or at least you make the pictures public, because otherwise I won't be able to see them. So let's have a look at the hashtags so far. So we've got a few more entries. I had a little flurry of entries on this week.
Yuppie.
So this one is a knitted blanket that fellow podcaster Melissa at Knit and Crochet Spot is joining in with, and long-time supporter of my little channel is Soffity. She's doing another amazing blanket. She does absolutely beautiful designs. So lovely colours. Then we've got Tina, who's got a couple of blankets on the go for the BAL, so you don't have to include just the one. If you have multiple blanket whips, and you want to use this make along as a way of getting down your whips, making progress, as long as you're not more than 50% done on your project, enter it in, work on it, because that's the whole point of a make along. Make sure you work on it, and I will, like I said, pick a winner at the end of August. It'll probably be more like early September, because it'll be right up to the last day of August that I'm going to run this. I've got a couple of blankets on the go myself, because I am a blanket addict, and I will show those in a little while. So that's my blanket along update. So what next?
Project.
What next? Time for Emily to go to have her bath.
No.
Yes.
No.
Are you going to say goodnight to everybody?
No. Trying to find a cutie.
I don't know where your cuddly toy has gone.
No, Mum, she's upstairs. And I don't want to.
Right, off you go for your bath.
No.
Come on.
No. 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 No.
Good night. Oh gosh. Oh, she's a little bit excitable today, being first evening of the summer holidays, and she's very excited to have a lot of time off school work. I still have to work. Yes, on to projects. So finished objects. There are 2 finished objects, one of mine and one of Catherine's, and neither of them are here. And my finished object, I forgot to take a photograph of it before it was gifted. So Katherine last weekend announced that because her teacher is having a baby and she's finishing school today, Friday the 8th, Friday the 8th of July, she announced that she wanted to, oh excuse me, yawning away. She announced she wanted to make something for the baby. So I said, okay, what would you like to make? So she first of all, she wanted to make a blanket. She's been going through some of my old magazines and she found this, which is an absolutely beautiful baby blanket. And she chose some wool out of my stash. She cast it on it and each row was taking her an age and there was no way it was going to get finished in time for today. So I suggested she choose something smaller. So she wanted to make a baby hat. I dug all of my baby patterns out and she couldn't decide on a single baby hat or cardigan or anything out of my literally hundreds of baby patterns. So I said, okay, I will go on Ravelry and find you a pattern. So that is what I did. And apologies if you heard Emily screaming upstairs. She's clearly not happy to be going to bed right now. Let's see, where is it? Oh, it wasn't a download. It wasn't a download. It was a free pattern on a blog post. And I can't remember. I'll look it up and I'll float it around. It'll take me too long to find because I didn't print it out. Because it was very, very simple hat. I just wrote out the instructions for Katherine. But that was finished and she gave it away. So there she is. If you follow me on my Instagram, you would have seen this post. She's very, very happy with that. There was a drop stitch or two, which I managed to rescue. So it wasn't perfect, but the teacher was very pleased with it. And I made a star blanket, a baby star blanket. It was not a full-sized big blanket. I ran out of time. So I made it. Katherine chose the colours. Oh, actually, let me just show the yarn she used for her hat. This is the yarn she used for her hat. Had a couple of balls of this in my stash. This is the MKAL Drifter DK. I love the Drifter yarn. This stuff is amazing. It's beautiful yarn. It's ever so soft. It's a 25% cotton, 6% wool and 69 premium acrylic mix. There are 300 metres to a ball, 100 gram ball. So she used probably about a third of a ball. So she's got 1 3/4 balls to use up on something else should she want to, or I will use it up on something. So she's always wrapping herself in blankets. So I keep saying, why don't I just find you a very simple garter stitch shawl pattern and you just make it really big until you run out of yarn and use it as a blanket. But she's wanting to work on smaller things first, which is understandable. She is 11 and a half and her attention span is that of an 11 and a half year old. The only thing she seems to be able to concentrate for any length of time on is Sims 4, which is a computer game that she likes to play. So those are the finished objects. It's a shame that I don't have them with me to show you, but they had to be gifted before she finished school today. And I was stupid enough not to get a picture of the blanket, which I made in these colours. So they're both Aldi yarn. This one's one of the older Aldi DKs. I've had this one for a little while. This one is Coral. And this is Dove Grey. I'm starting to get low in my acrylic stash. And I keep dropping hints to Simon I need to buy some to plug in the gaps. So what would have been perfect for that would have been if Deramores was still trading, because they used to do amazing mystery bags that you'd pay about £30, I think it was I paid for one. Was it £30? Yes, and you got this big bag of yarn, and there was loads of different types of yarn in there, but lots of different colours of their Deramores anti-pilling yarn, which is really nice yarn. And I know you can still get that yarn on Lovecrafts, but I like the mystery bags. So if anyone can recommend a mystery bag type thing that you can buy from either a smaller yarn seller or a larger one that will ship to fairly inexpensively to the UK if they are outside of the UK or within the UK, comment below and I'll have a look at them and maybe treat myself to one at the end of the summer as a reward for getting through it when the girls are back at school. That would be a fantastic plan. Okay, so whips. Shall I start with Catherine's whip? I think I should. So in a couple of weeks, Katherine will be here when I film. She goes to Girl Guides every Friday evening, and this is the last one before the summer break, so she will be able to talk about her own whips. So she's obviously finished that hat, and now she has chosen to make herself a bag. This is the Pretty Pocket bag designed by Jo Allport, and it features in issue 208 of Simply Knitting. Now this is a 2021 issue, so this is one of mine, not one of my mum's. She has been looking through quite a lot of my old knitting magazines, which include my mum's. But no, she's loving making it. So I went through all. It's made with Aran weight yarn, and I went through all of my Aran weight yarn, the cheap stuff that I really don't mind her using, and she didn't like any of the colours I had, so I said okay, let's see what else I've got. So as well as my shelves, I've got a few tote bags in the corner ready to plug in some gaps, which I need to get around to doing. And she saw, she's lost the yarn band, but she saw this. Now, if you are in America, you might recognise this yarn. And Melissa, you will probably recognise this yarn because this is yarn you sent to me. This is the I Love This Yarn. Oh, I've just spotted the ball band, just a sec. I found it. It had worked its way under the dining table. Oh, I love living with children. So this is the I Love This Yarn Super Soft Super Savings print, and it is Belladonna. It's a Hobby Lobby yarn, and it's 100% acrylic. There are 230 meters to a skein here, and this is knitting up really nicely. So I'm hoping she doesn't want to use the other skein, so I can find something nice to make with the other skein. But here it is so far. It's actually wider than she thought it would be, and I don't know how much of that is just she does have quite a loose tension at the moment. It's a lovely tension, it's nice and even, but it's just a little bit loose. It's a beautiful tension. I'm very proud of that tension. I would be proud if I had as even a tension as that. Sometimes my stitches can be a little bit sort of strained between the knits and the purls, but this is just stocking stitch, and brave mummy is trusting her with her 5mm Knit Pro Nova Cubics. So these are amazing needles. I love these needles so much. Absolutely amazing. They are cubed needles. Very comfortable to knit with. You don't notice the squareness, and if you're knitting for a long period of time, they are very comfortable to knit with. I don't find I get hand ache as much as I do with my round needles. So that's Catherine's whip. I couldn't tell you if it'll be a finished object in 2 weeks' time. Let's see how much concentration she has to continue. She does seem to have rediscovered a love of knitting and the excitement of gifting what she makes. She also wants to make smaller things for selling to make some pocket money as well. So I'll have to look into that. So my next whip, let's show... Which whip shall I show? I don't have a whole bunch of whips to show her. I haven't worked on a lot of projects. And mainly because I've been sleeping on the sofa. I've been too tired to concentrate on anything. Really. And then I've spent half of this week working on her star blanket. So let's show you my Winter Wonderland. This is my main project for my blanket along, and I'm going great guns. I'm into part 2. Now I don't really print the patterns out as such, especially with mosaic. I find it easier to read the pattern the way I write them out as opposed to the way it's sometimes written on the patterns. So I got myself this lovely notepad, and I do prefer writing out a pattern to printing. It's more economic on the printer, and who doesn't love a nice notebook? So I am making this with the Paint Box yarn, the Simply DK. This is one of the colours. This it says silver on there, but it's not. That's not the name of the colour. This doesn't have a name. This is colour 104. I've written silver on there because this is the colour that I bought for the silver, which is the Starcraft. So the colourway I'm following is from a blog that I cannot pronounce the name of. And she did the test make, one of the test makes for this pattern in this colourway. And from the moment I saw it, it was that I was sold. This pattern flew into my Ravelry library. I bought it and was like, I'm going to make it. Simon bought me the yarn for my birthday. And here is what I've got done so far. I've got reindeers. I've got Christmas trees. I've got reindeers. And this is going to be a row of baubles. Now this is my project for this weekend. We have a busy weekend, plus, and I'll explain in a minute, I have another project that I need to get done or get worked on for the time being. So I don't know if I will get to work on this over the weekend. We shall see how much work I get done on the other project. So this pattern, and I can never remember the name of the designer, despite how much I love the pattern. Anna Marie Soares. So let's just find Winter Wonderland part 2. So there's just a little, so that's this big section. Oh no, it's not bubbles. It's this zigzag section I'm working on at the moment down here. And then I've got these baubles here and then another zigzag section. So it does work up quite quickly because it is just single crochets and double crochets. And I just love the way the images come through. I'm definitely going to do more of this kind of blanket or any kind of crochet really for this style. It would make a nice scarf actually, wouldn't it, if you just sort of did a couple of repeats sort of that wide. It would make quite a nice scarf. Yes, this one. So yeah, so I'm not putting any pressure on myself as long as it's done in time for Christmas. Not going, obviously I can't win my prize, so I don't not that you have to finish anything, just share your progress. So that's, put that away. Try and have everything nice and tidy, and then I can get straight into the gin and tonic section of my evening a little sooner. So that is that project. Now my other project is my focus project at the moment, and this is my Perseverance Mystery Knit Along. So I'm trying to, as soon as I get the clue for the Mystery Knit Along and the Mystery Crochet Along, I'm trying to get straight on, get it done, get them out of the way and get back into my normal routine of my projects. So I need to get this done, and then I need to get the hearth side, the Mystery MKAL Crochet Along done, so, which I haven't even looked at the pattern for that yet. So I'll just try and work out the right side. This is the right side. This blanket's huge. It's going to be all scooched up on the needles because I don't want to lose any stitches. Let's see if I can. This one, we've got this. I did mess up a little bit on my counts around here, but I still quite like the effect. But essentially we've got diagonal lines coming through. I think that's what it looks like as far as I'm concerned. They look like little diagonal lines. And I got my colour changes right this time. I didn't read my pattern and do the wrong colour for the rose. And we've got a corner already, so it's essentially going to look a bit like that. I have no idea what you're seeing because I can't see. I'm still undecided about the colours. These are just random. I've just picked these colours out of my stash. What I'm going to do if I run out of each of these colours before the MKAL is finished, I don't know. But it is a monthly MKAL. It's a free pattern, and it's just a lovely way to use up yarn from your stash. I've got a few. Oh dear, excuse me. I'm so tired. I've been so busy at work this week. It's unbelievable. But yes, I'm still enjoying it. Although I wish the rows were a little shorter. It's putting me off knitting a blanket that I really want to knit. For Christmas, Simon gave me the Easy Lace Knitting book, and in there is an Afghan knitted it out of Aran yarn, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and it's a fairly simple lace pattern. After doing this is about 240 stitches a row, so it takes a good 10-15 minutes minimum for a row, and I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 rows to go. So I've got at least a couple more hours of work on this. Whether or not I'll have enough time tonight and tomorrow and then get half side done, I don't know. But I'm enjoying working on it. Like I said, I'm using yarn from my stash. Most of it is the Aldi DK. I'm going to have to start buying yarn to make blankets with, as I've quickly run out of all my DK. I do make most of my blankets using acrylic yarn, mainly because my girls use them a lot, so they need to be washed a lot. And acrylic yarn just it's better, easier to care for than wool or cotton. I mean cotton's a little bit easier to care for than wool, but wool it's an expensive yarn, and I wouldn't want it ruined accidentally by the girls. These blankets come out very often, even now in the summer. I mean, it's almost 8 p.m. in the evening and it's 23 degrees right now. Now I know there are people out there watching this who are probably going to say, that's nothing, Helen. That's absolutely nothing. And I know. And yes, I'm looking at you, Soffity. For in Australia, I appreciate it gets hotter than they say where you live. I honestly would have to go visit you in winter, because I struggle when it gets to above 25. It's 23 right now. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. But that's by the by. So, one more whip. I've only worked on like 4 things this fortnight. So this is my socks. So these are my out and about socks in my Bellica Yarns bag. I love this bag because I can pop that over there. I can have my socks in my hand, knitting away, walking around, can still see what I'm doing, and it's all good. So these socks are going to be for Katherine. And they're my first toe up socks, because I used this yarn. This is the Rum Paradise yarn from West Yorkshire Spinners, and I made some for Emily out of this yarn, some socks, and I didn't know if I'd have enough to do cuff down and have them fit her. So I thought, okay, perfect opportunity to have a go at toe up. And I'm surprised at how, well, after many watches of various YouTube videos, and I will watch more when it comes to the second sock, casting on the second sock. So I split the yarn up. So this is how much I have left of the first ball that I made out of what was left. And then I've got this here. I think it worked out. I think there's about 30 something grams in each. So I also decided it would need a contrast heel, and Katherine chose the contrast heel, which I made her wait to do until I had yarn flying everywhere, until I knew what colour stripe I was ending on for the heel. And I ended on a blue stripe, and I got all of my 20 gram minis out, and I could have got away with a 10 gram mini, but what's left of this will just go into my 10 gram minis bag for my blankets, my Cozy Memories blanket, I think that's what it's called. So she chose this colour for the heel. This is one of my ones from my Dinah's Home of Crafts subscription that I unfortunately no longer have. Here's the ball. So I got my Swift out last night, rolled it up, and I did the heel. This is a short row heel. I'm going to make a pair of socks after this for Emily, and I'm going to do an afterthought heel. I'm going to try an afterthought heel. So I do all of my socks on DPNs. I find it easier. I just cannot make magic loop work. I've really tried, but I just can't make it work. So this particular set is the Knit Pro Symphony. So Knit Pro is probably one of the mid-range budget brands in the UK. I believe they trade as Knitter's Pride in the US. I'm not sure what they trade as elsewhere. They must have various trading names around the world. So yes, there's my short row heel, which I'm quite proud of. Whether or not it will fit Katherine terribly well, I'm not sure, because the last pair of socks I made with a short row heel didn't fit her ankle terribly well, her heel. So we shall see. I'm up for trying all sorts of different heels at the moment. I tried that one. Next time it will be an afterthought heel. Oh gosh, I need to put that away in there. My needle cozy is Joe Piccalilli. I love these needle cozies. She does them in the shorter ones for the 15cm needles, and she has longer ones for the 20s. So these socks will come out with me tomorrow as I walk around the museum and for the drive home. Hair everywhere. Everywhere hair. So yes, these are going really well. I'm not sure I could even get this sock finished tomorrow, looking at how much is left on that ball. So there's a couple of hours worth of knitting going on that ball, I think, and if I'm walking around knitting as I go, assuming I remember to put them in my bag, I'll be devastated if I forget. Okay, so that's all my whips. Now incoming, I don't really have any. I did buy a pattern on Ravelry the other day because I was looking for more free baby patterns to make. I was looking for something to crochet to go along with the hats and mittens or booties or something, and I came the very first pattern on there was this. How adorable is that dress? Both of my girls want this dress, so I'm gonna have to make it at least twice, maybe even more. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's the Abigail Fairy dress, and it's designed by Christelle Riley Watts. It's a fairly inexpensive pattern. I think it cost me about £3 or £4, so I don't mind paying. Usually it's up to about £5. Oh, that reminds me, Julia, I know you asked for some time to think about your pattern, but I'm still waiting to hear from you. I haven't responded to your email yet. I know I'll try and find time to drop you a line this weekend. So yeah, and it's sized from baby to a large adult. So if I wanted one, I could make one. It's just thinking of yarn to make. So it's a fingering weight yarn to fit Emily. I would need 1200 to 1500 meters of yarn. Now these are designed for some of the whirls, so you can use them for the whirls or the hobby twirls, but I'd need more than one cake for that, and I'm not sure how to go about with the colours. But I do like the idea of maybe sort of just doing it as a fade, getting a few colours, a few mini skeins or something, and fading it down, or just random mini skeins. That could be fun too. I think it's probably best to be done in cotton though rather than wool. I don't know. Anyway, this is going to be super short because I haven't really got anything else to talk about, and you don't want to sit and listen to me wittering on about not really anything relevant. So I am going to leave it here. I'm going to go and make myself a drink, and I'm going to open those windows because it's incredibly hot in here, especially under this light that Simon has set up for me. And I shall see you all again in a couple of weeks with Katherine with me, and she'll be able to show you what she's been working on properly herself. So As always, I really enjoy seeing your comments, so please comment below. If you're not already subscribed and you like listening to a middle-aged lady chuntering on about how much yarn she likes to buy, then please feel free to subscribe. It's lovely to see all these new subscribers dropping on, and I shall see you again in about a couple of weeks. Bye.